Is this just an ordinary teaser clip, or the most honest signal that has been held back all this time? Why, in less than 5 seconds, does Jungkook's expression shake the emotions of millions of fans? And even more surprisingly, why does Kim Taehyung appear to fall silent in a moment that should be filled with energy? What is really hidden behind the teaser? BTS The Comeback Live ARIRANG, that has now become one of the biggest topics of speculation among ARMY. It all began with a short clip, around 5 seconds long, that quickly spread across social media platforms. The clip shows Jungkook with an unusual expression, eyes that seem slightly teary, a voice that trembles just a little, and a simple yet striking sentence. So emotional. I really miss them. To casual viewers, those words may sound ordinary. But for ARMY, this is not just an expression of longing. This is a code, a clue, perhaps even a confession. What makes this moment even more intense is Jungkook's position in the clip. He is not standing alone. He is right next to Taehyung. There is no distance being created, no sign of avoidance. In fact, it feels quite the opposite. The closeness feels raw, real, as if there are no longer any filters holding back emotions that have been hidden for so long. The question arises naturally. If this is just a teaser, why does it feel so personal? Public reaction exploded almost instantly. Within hours, the post shared by a fan account with the caption, #Jungkook in new BTS The Comeback Live teaser, was flooded with hundreds of likes, reposts, and comments. Heart emojis filled the comment section. But beyond that, there was one pattern that stood out. Most of the comments were not only about Jungkook, but also about Taehyung. Why? Because many believe that the phrase, "I really miss them," is not simply directed at the group as a whole. There is something more specific, more intimate, more personal. Some fans have even started linking this moment to the dynamic between Jungkook and Taehyung, which has recently been a frequent topic of discussion. Is this just a coincidence? Or was it intentionally placed as a hint? In the world of K-pop, especially on the scale of BTS, nothing truly happens without meaning. Every gesture, every word, even every second in a teaser is usually curated with extreme precision. So when a clip presents such raw emotion, many believe this is not just a spontaneous moment. But what draws even more attention is not only Jungkook, but Taehyung's reaction. In the same clip, Taehyung appears silent. There is no exaggerated reaction, no wide smile like usual. He simply stands there with an expression that is difficult to read. For some, this may mean nothing. But for fans who have followed their journey for years, even the smallest change can be a major signal. Was Taehyung surprised? Or did he already understand the meaning behind Jungkook's words? Several theories have begun to emerge. Some believe Taehyung intentionally held back his reaction due to the situation. Others think his silence is actually the most honest response, a reaction that cannot be expressed in words. But one theory stands out as the most chilling. What if this moment is part of a much larger narrative? Since the announcement of this comeback project, many fans have felt that BTS is presenting a different concept this time. More emotional, more reflective, more real. If they were once known for high-energy performances and spectacular choreography, now there is a deeper tone, as if they want to reveal a side that has rarely been seen before. And this teaser might just be the gateway. When Jungkook says, "I really miss them," many immediately associate it with the times when the members had to carry out their individual responsibilities, including obligations that kept them apart. But the way he says it with a voice that nearly breaks makes many feel that this is more than ordinary longing. This is restrained longing. This is emotion finally finding a way out. And what makes it even stronger is the fact that he does not try to hide it. There is no effort to appear professional or composed. Jungkook looks completely genuine. And perhaps that is what makes this moment feel so touching. And yet, just when it seems like the emotions in that 5-second clip have already said everything, another question quietly emerges. What if that moment was only the surface of something far deeper, something deliberately left incomplete? Because the more fans replay the teaser, the more details begin to feel intentional. Jungkook's tone, for instance, does not carry the lightness of a casual remark. It is weighted, almost as if each word had been held back for far too long before finally being released. There is a subtle pause before he finishes the sentence, a fraction of a second that many might overlook, but for those paying close attention, it feels like hesitation. Or perhaps restraint from saying more. And that is where the tension begins to build. If Jungkook truly meant them, as the group as a whole, why does his gaze seem to linger slightly to the side? Why does the camera angle, brief as it is, still manage to capture Taehyung standing right beside him, close enough to feel the emotional weight, yet distant enough in expression to raise questions? It is in that contrast that the mystery sharpens, because while Jungkook appears openly vulnerable, Taehyung remains composed. Still, quiet, almost unreadable. But is it really unreadable, or is it simply too subtle? Some fans have started to notice the smallest shifts: Taehyung's posture, the way his shoulders seem slightly tense, the faint stillness in his face that replaces his usual effortless reactions. It is not dramatic, it is not loud, but it is there, and sometimes the quietest reactions are the loudest signals. Could it be that Taehyung is choosing silence not because he has nothing to say, but because what he feels cannot be easily expressed? Or is there something else entirely at play? Because in a production as carefully crafted as BTS The Comeback Live ARIRANG, nothing exists without purpose. Every frame, every second, every interaction is placed with precision. That alone raises an even bigger question. Why include this specific moment? Across online communities, theories continue to evolve. Some believe this is a reflection of time apart, of longing built through distance and unspoken conversations. Others suggest something more layered, that this moment hints at a shift, a turning point not just in their music, but in their relationship dynamic as seen by the public. Because what makes this different from previous content is not just the emotion, it is the absence of performance. There are no grand gestures here.
No choreography.
No scripted lines filled with polished delivery. What remains is something far more fragile: authenticity. And authenticity, when exposed even for a few seconds, can be more powerful than any full-length performance. But then comes the most unsettling thought of all. What if this is only the beginning? What if this teaser is carefully designed to prepare the audience for something much bigger, something that will unfold in the full broadcast? Because if 5 seconds can create this level of speculation, what could happen when the full context is revealed? Will Jungkook say more? Will Taehyung finally respond? Or will the silence continue, stretching into something even more difficult to interpret? There is also the possibility that this moment will never be directly addressed, that it will remain exactly what it is now, a fragment, suspended in time, open to endless interpretation. And perhaps that is what makes it so compelling, because certainty ends curiosity, but ambiguity keeps people watching as anticipation grows. One thing becomes increasingly impossible to ignore: the emotional tone of this comeback feels different. There is a sense that something has shifted, not abruptly, but gradually, quietly, beneath the surface. And just when it feels like every possible interpretation has already been explored, another layer quietly reveals itself. One that feels less like speculation and more like an emotional undercurrent that refuses to stay hidden. Because there is something undeniably different in the way Jungkook delivers that single line. It is not just the words, not just the tone, but the timing. The way it appears in the teaser, brief, almost fleeting, yet placed with such precision that it becomes the centerpiece of attention. It does not feel random. It feels chosen. And when something is chosen, especially in a production of this scale, it carries intention. That realization alone shifts everything. What if the purpose of this moment is not simply to express emotion, but to set a narrative tone? A tone that prepares the audience for a comeback that is not driven by spectacle, but by vulnerability. Because if there is one thing that stands out from this teaser, it is the absence of distance. Emotional distance, at least, from Jungkook. He does not hold back. He does not filter. He does not mask what he feels.